y'all. I hope everyone is having a fabulous Sunday and a productive Sunday. I hope y'all had a good weekend. And I have been pretty much chilling this weekend. I'm not sure if you can still hear it in my voice, but I am still sick with the plague somehow, so whatever. But it was great because it did allow me to get a lot of work done, which I'm excited to show you guys. But first, I bought some stuff. So on Wednesday, after I got out of work, I headed to the Target right near my school. They always have the best dollar spot there. I'm not sure what it is because it's a smaller Target and the bigger Target is terrible for the dollar spot. But this dollar spot always has all of the latest and greatest. And even though I'm tardy to the party, I did pick up a few things, of course, because that's where my money goes all of the time. The first thing that I got, y'all have probably already seen all over Instagram, maybe on YouTube already. It is adorable. I'm tardy to the party on picking it up, but I did find it and I snagged it. It is this alphabet letter chart. It's made out of felt. It just kind of hangs, and then it's got a bunch of felt animals, I haven't even opened it yet, that start with each of the letters, and you're supposed to put them into the pocket. I think this is super adorable. What I'm actually going to do is not only use these animals, but I'm also going to make picture cards that go with each letter, and I'm going to use it with my younger Arctic kids when we are figuring out initial, medial, and final positions of certain sounds, and then also just in general for matching sounds to pictures. Some of my really little friends are kind of just at that level, so I think this is super adorable. I've seen it used a ton of different ways, and I am pumped to get to use it. I'm probably not going to use it until next year though, just because of the way everything has been going, and I've got everything planned out for the last few weeks because y'all, there's only 3 weeks left of therapy, counting this week coming up. So we are down to the wire, and I have at least everything planned out in my head, if not already physically made for the rest of the year. But I am so excited to use this next year, and that'll give me time to make up those cards. The next thing that I grabbed while I was there, I'm not sure if it's a trend. You've probably seen it. You probably know. I have a felt food obsession. I don't know what it is. It could just be because it's food, because I love food. But every time there are felt foods in the Target dollar spot, I buy probably at least 2 or 3 of them. There was a hot second when there was felt tacos, probably this winter, and I didn't buy them, and y'all, I'm kicking myself for it. I really wish I had them, especially for Cinco de Mayo coming up this week. That would have been super awesome. I'm trying to look past it. But I did find these. It is a felt food s'mores kit, and I am in love with this because I have a bunch of s'mores activities that I use. Oh, the lighting's changing and you can't see. And I think this is gonna be adorable to use in conjunction with that. Also, I can use it with my language kiddos. In fact, sneak peek, this is going to be probably in next week's therapy activity. I have a lot of fun stuff coming up for next week, so you'll probably see this again very, very soon. The next thing I got at Target is a staple. I just grabbed it. It is some bubbles. It's actually a 3-pack of bubbles. I use these with my younger kids for reinforcers, for CVC words, CV words, just basic sounds. When we're working at the syllable for ba, we use this a lot for a reinforcer. Pretty much anything. Most of my kids love bubbles. In fact, I've never met any child anywhere in therapy that has not enjoyed bubbles. It's just something fun to do. It also helps get them up and out of their seat, gets them moving a little bit. They can pop them. Bunch of vocabulary words we can work on. Staple. Didn't have them. Don't know why. I do now. The last thing that I picked up from Target last Wednesday, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with it, and I'm not going to use all of the pieces probably, but the main reason why I bought it was for this adorable fish bowl. And it comes with some felt fish that you can put in. I think it's a counting activity. Those fish are kind of like, not really a huge fan of them. But this bowl is adorable, and it's just like clear vinyl-y plastic in the front. So I'm probably going to make some fish myself and have them in here floating around. I'm not sure 100% if I'm going to do like a game with it, kind of like a Go Fish thing, or if I'm just gonna have them pull fish out and see how many that they can collect. But I'm in love with this for like the underwater sea creature aquatic themes that I do, especially when we do rainbow fish. Definitely gonna be using this. So I'm super pumped on this. Cannot wait to utilize it in speech. I think this was only like $3, and like I said, it came with the fish. They're elsewhere. I don't know, but I just really want the fish bowl. So that brings me to today. I had to run out on an impromptu errand because I did not have any red felt for this week's stuff. In fact, I'll insert a few clips now of me chit-chatting with you guys earlier in the car, so let's rewind. So I am headed back from town for the second time this week. I went yesterday and totally spaced on getting some things, but it ended up sort of working out. Not really for my wallet, but I digress. So I went up to Michael's, I got some red felt for the rest of my Very Hungry Caterpillar things. I ended up getting the wrong tacky glue for my removable pictures. I ended up getting the permanent kind, not the over and over kind, so I did have to go up and grab that. I grabbed some spray starch to stiffen up the felt pieces for the caterpillar because I feel like they're just a little floppy and kind of sad. So I just got some spray fix from Michael's, and then I went to Toys R Us because, as everybody knows, it is going out of business. And I went at the beginning of the month, and it was lackluster for the things that I wanted because I figure if I could get some stuff discounted for my speech room, like, that'd be awesome. And mostly I'm looking at, like, games and, like, board games and things like that because I feel like Legos, those are never going to go on sale, really. And in fact, they weren't really on sale this time. But when I went earlier in the month, it was only 10% off board games. And most of the games at Toys R Us are more expensive in the store than they are either at Target or Walmart or on Amazon. So it wasn't worth it. But this time when I went in, they were in fact 20% off the games. And then you got an extra 10% off your total discounted purchase. So I went through and I picked out some of the games. Some games I didn't get. I ended up getting some games that I didn't even think I wanted. I ended up getting one game that I wanted and that I knew I wanted, and then two games that were the last ones there and were significantly cheaper in store, even without any discounts, than they were on Amazon or anything. So I grabbed those two. There's still a bunch of games that I want, like Lucky Ducks and Pop the Pig, like I said. Shark Bite, Crocodile Dentist, like games like that. Shark Bite they were sold out of, so they didn't have that anymore. But there was tons of Crocodile Dentist. Hungry Hungry Hippos is another one that I wanted. They have tons of those. So I figure I'll just keep going back. I was really excited that I was able to pick up 3 activities or games today. One of them I think I'm actually going to use this week in speech for the articulation kiddos. It's just kind of getting to that point in the year where they are over it. They're antsy, they're waiting for summer, and they've worked hard all year, and I typically don't like to do games unless there's like an actual theme, but we're kind of just going to roll with it. I do know that next week I've got an activity to play with them, and it's a reinforcement game, but it's still along the same lines of what I'm doing the whole week for a theme. And then the last week, of course, we're going to play games. But I don't know. I just kind of feel like it'll be cute and I can make it work and it'll produce the most trials. And that's really what it is. Like, honestly, if they're playing a game, they will do the most boring drill work ever, as long as after each sound trial they get a turn. So how I do the games is typically like I'll have them say a word 3 times each, or I'll have them put a word in a sentence or repeat a sentence after me that I give them, depending on where they're at, and then they get to take a turn for the game. So I need like quick games that are like very responsive. So board games typically aren't something that I would go for, just because. So things like Crocodile Dentist and Pop the Pig, like those are good because they're just like really quick. They had a pizza pop-up game, and you had to like create your pizza in a certain amount of time before like the board popped up. It's essentially perfection, but with pizza. But it didn't get good reviews online, so I skipped over that one. But things like that kind of have those timered things, so we can even play a bunch of times in the 5 minutes, that always works. And being that it is 5 minutes, you don't want to start a board game or like a really in-depth game. You just want something that's going to have like a quick turnaround to it. So the one that I got, I think, should do the trick. And bonus is that it's spring, summer-y-ish type themed. So we're going to run with it. I'm going to head home now, though, and finish up the Very Hungry Caterpillar materials, because I took a little detour and I was not expecting to be out this long. It's almost, well, it is 12:30, so I've got to get back and finish that up so I can put all of this together and show y'all what I'm doing this week. Like I was saying in that long rambly car video clip, I went to Toys R Us, grabbed some games. I have a whole list, like a running list of activities and games that I wanted to get. Only one of these was on that, but when I was in there, I saw a bunch of things that I can use and I didn't see on the website, so it's gonna work out anyway. The first game that I picked up is an actual board game. I'm going to use it with my language kiddos. It is called Silly Street, and it is great for like following directions. You basically have to do whatever it says on the card. It comes with a giant game board. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's a 40-inch game board. So this is actually like a really great quality game. I've seen it at Target. That's where I first noticed it. But like I said, Toys R Us, it was a little bit cheaper. It was 20% off with an extra 10 off of your total discounted purchase. So I did grab this. It's for ages 4+. And what I'll probably do is use the cards. I'll probably go through the cards because I haven't opened it yet, see which ones are appropriate. Some of them are like super silly. Sing, row, row, row your boat in your deep hippo voice. And the little kids will probably love to do that. But what I might end up doing is just making some fun cards for my older kids that are a little less, I don't know, embarrassing. Some of my kids are too cool for school. But I can still use the game board and the game pieces for it. So I'm really excited about this. The next game/activity that I got, once again, not on my list. I have a habit of straying from the things that I need to buy, but I did use this 5 years ago when I was a long-term sub for a therapist that was out on sick leave. My co-teacher / now best friend had this game and her kids loved it. And once again, it's one of those things, gets the kids out of their seats, moving, good reinforcer, so I'm all about it. Plus it was super cheap. I looked it up on Amazon and it was like 2 times the price, so I picked it up, and it is Toss Across, the original tic-tac-toe game for the tabletop, but you could also put it on the floor. I'm thinking of using this during my makeup sessions for the last 2 weeks of school. So how my county works is that we end 2 weeks early at the end of the year, and we also start 2 weeks later at the beginning of the year, but we're at the end now. So we end 2 weeks early, and then those last 2 weeks we do all of the makeup sessions. And a makeup session is any time that we've missed a student, basically because of us. So if a student is absent or they're doing something in class and the teacher asks that they can stay, then it's a student unavailable. We do not have to make it up, but if we're absent or we miss them because we have a meeting or something like that, we do have to make up those sessions. And I try to like stagger it, so I'm doing it during the year, and I'm not letting it accumulate, but we all know that that sometimes falls by the wayside, and you need fun and engaging activities, so I'm super excited to use this with them coming up. The last game that I picked up at Toys R Us today, I know, I feel like I've never bought so many games before. Once again, not on the list. Funny story. But it is Honeybee Tree, and it's basically, I want to say, kind of like Kerplunk. You just pull out the leaves, or, yeah, they're the leaves in the beehive, and essentially you don't want the honeybees to fall down. And I love this. This is one of those just like quick reinforcer games that I was talking about. I'm going to use this actually probably this week with my articulation kiddos. They love things like this, and being that it's a 5-minute session, these types of games go quick. I wouldn't be able to do a board game like Silly Street with them just because it's going to take too long, but these are perfect. So I'm so excited that I was able to snag this. This was actually the last one that they had there, so I wanted to definitely make sure I got it just in case it was sold out for like forever. Here is all of the felt food that I made, and I made it enough for the entire retail. So if I'm using the felt board, I have 2 pears, 3 plums, 4 strawberries, 5 oranges. But for the purpose of the kids just feeding them, I'm only going to use 1 of each. So we've got the apple, we've got a pear, we've got my plums, little purple plum. Do plums have stems? I don't even know. I was going off of the book. Here are the strawberries. I think these are my favorite. They came out the cutest. This is my orange. Don't judge. It's just a circle. And then we've got my favorite, some chocolate cake. We've got a watermelon. I have to put the black seeds on. I'm just going to do that with Sharpie because tiny little seeds out of felt was just a lot to do. Here's the leaf that he eats at the end. We've got a pickle. I've got some pie. Honestly, felt colors, not so great at Walmart, so they're not all exactly looking how they should be, but I did what I could. We have our ice cream cone, our little mini cupcake. This came out so much smaller than I intended it to, but we're gonna make it work. We have our sausage, our salami, once again, colors, not the best. Oh, this is probably also my favorite, the Swiss cheese. This is by far the funnest one. And then a lollipop. And I have some spray fixative on this one. I'm just gonna have to keep spraying it because it's just like a sad lollipop stick. So I'm gonna try to stiffen it up. Some of these are a little bit stiffer than others, but actually it ended up working out because the opening is not as big as the food pieces. So it helps that the kids can just kind of like push it in and not have to worry about not fitting it. This is probably what I'm looking forward to most just because I love felt food. As you know, I'm constantly buying it from Target, and now I made my very own, so that's exciting. The last activity that I have for my Very Hungry Caterpillar theme this week is a story retell board, and it's just this basic board, numbers 1 through 16 for all of the things that the caterpillar ate. I'm going to use this with my older kiddos. And my younger kiddos are just going to be sequencing with the paint stick caterpillar, but my older kiddos in like 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade that are working on sequencing stories and following directions and things like that, I'm going to see how much of the story they can remember, and then I just have these picture cards and they are going to stick them in the spots that they think that they went. And I'll probably break it down like 1 through 5, 5 through 10, 10 through 16. This way it's not so overwhelming, but this is a really good idea so that the kiddos can retell the story on their own, and also, like I said, to see how much they remember, and we can do different WH questions with it and a bunch of stuff like that. So most of my older kids are working on WH questions, following directions, or multi-step directions, things like that, problem solving, synonyms. Actually, there are a few instances in the book where there are different words that I pulled out to go over synonyms and antonyms, the same and the opposite, different things like that. You just kind of have to utilize what materials that you're using. I actually wanted to share a life hack with these boards or anything removable that you would normally use like Velcro or glue dots for, because as a speech therapist or a teacher, y'all know that you need a lot of Velcro and a lot of sticky stuff. But Velcro is like super expensive, so what I've done is I've switched to Eileen's Tack It over and over. Make sure you get the over and over kind because the regular Tack It's like a permanent adhesive, but the over and over basically lets you remove and reposition different things. So it's just as good as Velcro, if not better, and then you don't have to worry about running out of Velcro or oh gosh, I don't have any, because I've definitely done that before, where I go to make it in the morning and I've run out of Velcro. So this whole bottle, you just need a tiny little dot. I didn't do the dots on this one. It's actually on the page that's drying on the floor beneath me, but what they do is they can just stick these on and then they come right off, and you can store them different ways. But it works great for not only little activities like this, but PEX cards, anything. I've used it for behavior incentive charts. Just as they're earning things, it's got a ton of uses, and then you can also use it for general crafting stuff. But I definitely wanted to share that in case you did not know and you were spending a bunch of money on copious amounts of Velcro and or glue dots. So definitely check that out if you haven't. That's it for my Very Hungry Caterpillar activities this week with all of my kiddos. That's mostly for my language groups. Like I said, I'm going to be doing Honeybee Tree with my articulation groups. I like it because it's spring themed with bees and bumblebees and being outside, trees, nature, all of that good stuff. We are going to be tackling this guy. I think my kids are going to absolutely love it. Even my older kids, that whole like competition aspect of stuff, for whatever reason, when you're competing against yourself, this is what they love to play. They also always like to know if they've made it the furthest. So anytime I'm playing these types of games with kids, they're like, oh, did anybody else get this far? And that also kind of helps to motivate them throughout the session. So I'm really excited. I hope this is as cute as it looks in the box because I'm pumped on this. I might want to play this by myself. So that's everything that I'm doing with my... That's everything that I'm doing this week in speech with my kiddos, but before I close out this video, I wanted to share some pretty big news that I've kind of been sitting on the past week, just waiting for everything to kind of be official. But as of next year, for the 2018-2019 school year, I will no longer be working out of the speech loft. That's right, I am moving schools. An opportunity opened up to work full-time at the school that I am currently at part-time during the week, and it just seemed like a good fit. I wouldn't have to travel between a bunch of different locations, and I would be able to serve all of the students in that one building. So I definitely am super excited for this transition in my life, but not gonna lie, I've done a lot of tears. There have been a lot of tears. That's everything that I'm doing this week in speech with my kiddos, but before I close out this video, I wanted to share some big news that I have been kind of sitting on the past week waiting for everything to get finalized. But for the 2018-2019 school year, I will no longer be conducting therapy sessions out of the speech loft. That's right, I am moving elementary schools. I'm going to a different school in my county. It's actually the school that I'm at part-time this year, the 3 days a week that I go over there. A position opened up over there, and it just seemed like a really good fit for me. I will not have to travel between a bunch of different locations, and I'll be able to serve all of the students in that building. So I'm really excited. I was also very sad this week. A lot of crying happened, especially when I had to tell administration, because the speech loft has been my home since I moved down here. They've seen me through pretty much everything, but I'm sure there will be more tears at the end of the year when I finally leave. But I also am very excited for this opportunity, and I'm super excited to meet a whole new caseload and get to know a bunch more kiddos. You know, that's kind of the hints and little things that I've been picking up here and there, because I will have a larger speech office. So I'm super excited for that. I'm super excited to have some new kiddos and to meet some new kids and to work with some new teachers. They're all fabulous over there. I'm so excited to get to collaborate with more of them than just the one teacher I'm with now. She's awesome. I love her. But everybody's super amazing. So I'm excited to expand my circle of speech friends and, you know, get into some new activities and some new ideas and meet just new kids with different needs. I'm super excited for this. I hope you'll follow me along on this journey. I can't wait to show you how I decorate and organize my speech room now that that's a real possibility and there's actual storage space there. And like I said, it's just going to be a really exciting ride. This always will, of course, be the speech loft. It's where I started. It's my roots. So obviously I'm going to keep the name, but my location will have changed slightly. That's everything that I've got to share for this week. I feel like it's been a lot. I feel like I kind of bombarded y'all with like lots and lots and lots of stuff. Let me know if you have any other ideas or your favorite Eric Carle book that you like to read to your kids for therapy or even in the classroom. I will try to get these materials up into my TPT shop as soon as possible. Once they are up, I will link them in the down bar below. Definitely give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more weekly therapy content. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. My handle is The Speech Loft. That's where I post weekly updates, products, everything that's going on that week in therapy is over there. And let me know in the comments down below any new videos that you would like to see. Stay tuned for some more content, and I'll see you guys next.